There was always something there with Stefan, something he couldn't quite understand, but he did know he did not like it. This thing would often come at night, just when Stefan was trying to go to sleep. It made his hands sweaty and his stomach tickle, and not in a good way. Sometimes, even after he went to sleep, he would wake up in the middle of the night, and there it was, right in front of him. He would feel so unhappy sometimes that he would call for his mother or big brother to come and chase this thing out of the bedroom. His stomach felt really strange. Stefan would often toss and turn all night. He would turn over and close his eyes and think, "I will not look at it. I will not think about it, and maybe it will go away." Sometimes at school, when he was working on something difficult, this thing would come right into the classroom. Sometimes it would say things. It always said mean things, never nice things. "You are not smart enough to do that work," it would say to Stefan. "You are not as good as the other students. You should just give up and run away." These words made Stefan's stomach tickle, and not in a good way. Sometimes he would feel so bad he could not do his best on his schoolwork. This made the teacher unhappy, and she would tell him in a big, loud voice, "You should do better." This made Stefan's stomach tickle too. Stefan would think of those mean words sometimes. He saw some of the other kids playing. He wanted to go and play with them. "You are not as good as the other kids." He would hear those words again, and his stomach would start to tickle, and not in a good way. The next day, Stefan was doing what he loves to do best, playing basketball. He loved to practice with his classmates. He was running to make a basket when all of a sudden that thing popped up in front of him. "You are not as good as the other players. You should not play. Just go home. Why don't you give up?" No one else seemed to notice this ugly thing right in front of Stefan. Stefan's stomach did not hurt this time. Instead, Stefan got angry. "Go away, you silly thing," he thought. "I love playing basketball. Even if I fall down or miss this shot, I will still love playing basketball. You can't scare me." Stefan went straight through that thing and made a basket. That night, Stefan thought about what had happened. He ran straight through that thing on the basketball court. It was not real. But why did his hands sweat and his stomach tickle if it was not real? He thought about other things that made his hands sweat and stomach tickle. He thought about creepy spiders and big noisy dogs. He thought about slithering snakes that bite and flying on a bumpy airplane. He thought about looking down from the top of very tall buildings. These things are scary, but that silly thing? That is just not real. The next day at school, Stefan saw some friends. His stomach started to tickle. "Go away, silly thing," he thought. "You are not real." He walked over to the other children and said hello. They all started to play together happily. That night, Stefan was very tired after a long day of studying and playing with his friends at school. "I can't wait to play basketball with my friends tomorrow," he thought. "And I will study extra hard for my test later this week." His stomach started to tickle, but this time, it was in a very good way. "Go to sleep, stomach. We have a very big day tomorrow," he thought and fell into a deep sleep. The end.